welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Walking in Spirit and Truth, and it's good to be back with you. This is John Craig, and been an interesting start here, but we got it all together, and we're going to jump into the Book of Jubilees because we're having an adventure over here. And last week, if you remember, we just ended with this amazing prayer that was going on. Actually, it was a revelation. And the last verse of chapter 23, verse 32, that last verse in chapter 23 said, "And do you, Moshe, write down these words, for thus are they written, and they record them on the heavenly tablets for a testimony for the generations forever." Because what happened is that it was like putting together the book of Revelation and Daniel and Ezekiel and Zechariah and some other other parts of the scripture, even in the Torah itself, and about things that would take place in the latter days. And here Moses was given that download. When we get that download that Moses gives us in the book of Deuteronomy, in Devarim, there at the end of the book, it's like there's this overlap. Even though it doesn't use the same words, there's an overlap, and that's where we ended up last week. So if you didn't get to, if you missed last week's show, you got to go back and check it out. Just saying. And let's see, that would have been the one dated on March the 10th, 2026. And by the way, these are, for the most part, they're, shall we say, not date sensitive. So if you're watching these archives and you're like 2 months from now watching it, it's going to be just like you're watching it for the first time, because it's not like there's too many current events injected into them. It's just more of, what does Jubilee say? Because we're on an adventure, not on a so-called Bible study, even though there's interlinkings with the scriptures with Jubilees, where it's filling in the gaps, but we're kind of following along this journey. And we followed along the journey from most recently was Abraham and Isaac, and Jacob, and the blessing of Abraham that was greater to Jacob than it was to his own son. I guess Abraham really loved Jacob, whereas Isaac loved Esau. So Jacob got the greater blessing from Abraham. Yes, just interesting. Yeah, do you like that? I got double glasses on today. What am I going to do? Let me just take that second pair off. Been outside, and it's sunny. It's actually a nice day today after that bitter cold we had yesterday. Springtime in the panhandle of Texas. So if you're watching this for the first time, my name is John Craig. My wife and I pastor Life of Worship Ministries here in Amarillo, Texas. You can join us on Shabbat on the Life of Worship Ministries YouTube channel, where we have our Torah portion at noon Central Time, from about noon to 2. So join us there. We have a midrash, and we invite people to join us online as well. Oh, I mean, on the screen as well. So you could do that and be part of our discussion, live discussion, or be just part of the discussion in the chat. We would love for you to participate either way. And so that's on Shabbat. And then we follow up with our encounter service at 3 p.m. Central Time, where we have a time of praise, worship ministry, and a message. So that is our Shabbat. We would love for you to join us. You can also join us for other programming here on the LambNetwork.tv, which we simultaneously broadcast on multiple channels, including the Life of Worship Ministries YouTube channel. And we have Latest Reason Together on Monday. We have the War Room on Monday. And now the World as We See It, or something like that, on Thursdays with Pastor Sandy and Mark David Smith. So make sure you on Thursday mornings you catch that new show with them. So always interesting things, as those two have a particular dynamic together. But tonight, this is Walking in Spirit of Truth. By the way, if you have not had an opportunity to give to our ministry at Life of Worship Ministries here in Amarillo, Texas, where we do reach the nations because of our broadcast and our streamcast, where all of our information is free, by the way. So you can go to our Life of Worship Ministries YouTube channel and pick up a lot of our teachings in the past, including the the high priestly calendar, and a number of other just great teachings. You can pick them up there on the Life of Worship Ministries YouTube channel, and our old channel, which we got booted off of and restored, is Life of Worship Amarillo. It's Amarillo without the O, and so it's Life of Worship Amarillo, and we've got a lot of great teachings over there that you don't want to miss out on. Pastor Sandy did a tremendous series on Psalm 91 and also on Psalm 1. We also have uh, plus a number of other things that we've captured and just kept over the year. They're free. They're free for you to go through and peruse. And on the Life of Worship Ministries YouTube channel, we went through the whole book of Enoch. We went through the book of the giants. We've gone through 4 Esdras, which is also known as 2 Ezra. We've gone through some of the other apocryphal books, and they've been a great, tremendous journey. We've learned a lot through all of those. So go back and check out those archives. Again, they're timeless. They're not date sensitive. They are timeless, just like Jubilees is. And we're learning along the way. And it's an adventure. And just to see, like in Jubilees, the download that Moses got on the mountain. So here we go. We are in chapter 24. I'm using the Et Sefer version of the scriptures. And again, Jubilees is one of the books that's mentioned in the Brit Hadashah. So apparently it had some type of authoritative voice in the first century. And so jump with me over to chapter 24, verse 1, where it begins. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that Yahweh, blessed Isaac his son, Isaac his son, and he rose from Hebron and went and dwelt in the well of the vision. Isn't that interesting? And he arose. That's not Abraham. Abraham didn't arise. No, Isaac got up from his time of mourning, and then he went to the well of the vision in the first year of the 3rd week of this Jubilee, 7 years. And it's also interesting that each one of all of these different things have taken place during the life of Noah, during the life of Abraham, and many of the others that we looked at. We found that everything is date stamped. So if you have the correct conversion calendar, you can look at these date stamps and you can know exactly where and when those took place, or where in the timeline of things and when on the calendar these actually took place. If you want to convert them to our Gregorian calendar, you can do that. And it goes on. Verse 2, and in the first year of the 4th week, a famine began in the land besides the first famine. Okay. Which had been in the days of Abraham. And Yaakov sawed lentil pottage. Yeah, I messed that up tonight. Okay, pottage. And Esau came from the field hungry. And he said to Jacob, to his brother, give me of this red pottage. And Jacob said to him, sell me your what? Primogeniture. Sell me your primogeniture, this birthright, and I will give you bread and also some of this lentil pottage. So you know the timeline now. That, did you ever think? I mean, yeah, if you're following along the Torah, you'd actually be picking this up, but it actually ends with this blessing and stuff to Jacob, and then this is when Esau shows up on the scene, and so he's like, sell me your pottage, give me some of this pottage. And he said, yeah, sell me your birthright first. I want some of that, and I'll give you this bread. I'll give you some of this lentil pottage. Because Esau was hungry, because according to Jasher, he was out there hunting Nimrod, killed Nimrod, got his garment, the garment that was handed down from Adam, is how it's been said. And Esau said in his heart, I shall die. Of what profit to me is this birthright? It's not because he should die of hunger. It's because he felt like he was going to die, that they were going to kill him, that they were going to come after him. That is the assassins or the guards or the royal protection team of Nimrod, and he thought, yeah, they were coming after him, and yet, so he's like, what's it going to matter? I'm just hungry. Just feed me, and if you feed me, then yeah, whatever. Because what good is it going to be if I die? So that's what he says. I shall die. Of what profit to me is this birthright? And he said, Yaakov, I give it to you. And he swore unto him. That's kind of an interesting little statement right there uh, because do we not get that over there in the Torah? We're going to have to look that up. Maybe we should look that up and find out and see exactly what was said. So let's check that out in the scriptures. Esau sells birthright. I mean, it's a sell, but he makes an oath. I think that's very interesting that he makes that oath. So we're going to check this out. Sells his birthright. It's over in Genesis chapter 25, 29 through 34. And it says, and when Jacob was cooking stew, the pottage, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted. Therefore, his name was called Edom, which also means hairy. It means red and hairy, I guess. Jacob said, sell me your birthright now. Esau said, I'm about to die. Of what use is this birthright to me? And Jacob said, swear to me now. And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. So, okay, I give it to you. I swear. Hold up the right hand. Okay, whatever. No, he didn't probably do that, but he did swear. And that carried a lot of weight back then because it was a verbal contract. So he did that. That's what the word said. We just read it. And Yaakov gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and he ate till he was satisfied. And Esau despised his birthright. I mean, that's exactly it's despising the birthright by thinking that you just sell it for a meal. I mean, he was skilled. Why couldn't he just make something for himself? I mean, but he went to his brother. I guess he despised his brother too. Maybe he didn't despise him so much yet. Okay, and Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red pottage which Yaakov gave him for his birthright. And Yaakov became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. That's a very interesting phrase because it says Yaakov became the elder. That's interesting. But it's true. For him to have the birthright, it would mean that he'd become the elder. And so, and yeah, that would be right. I mean, because they were in a time of mourning because of the death of Abraham. So, Tammy, it's put in here, Jewish tradition says that red lentil soup is the mourner's meal. So, I mean, it goes right along with that. And so Jacob becomes the elder, verse 8, and the famine was over the land, and Esau departed to go down into Mitzrayim in the second year of this week, and went to the king of the Pelishtim, to Gerar, unto Avimelech. And Yahweh appeared to him and said unto him, go not down into Mitzrayim, dwell in the land that I shall tell of you, and should sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. Because remember, Isaac was born in the land, and because he was the willing sacrifice, then the willing sacrifice should never leave the land. And so he could not go all the way down to Egypt. For to you and to your seed I will give this land, and I will establish my oath, which I swore unto Abraham your father, and I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven, and I will give unto your seed all this land. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because your father obeyed my voice and kept my charge and my commandments and my Torah and my ordinances and my covenant. Yeah, he did. He did them all. But oh, okay, did you notice something here? Because I want to say this to my Christian brothers that are out there, because this is where you miss it. And because he's talking about Abraham obeyed. What did he do? He obeyed Yah's voice, okay? And he kept his charge. In other words, uh, the direction that he told him to go, uh, and my commandments. So we're talking not just the 10 commandments, but there's a lot of commandments. I mean, the uh, the the Jewish people would say there's 613 in the Torah, but nevertheless, he kept the positive and the negative commands. And it says, he kept my charge and my commandments and my Torah. So all of the Torah, Torah also means instructions, of course, and my ordinances and my covenant. I mean, he kept them all. I mean, that's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. It's just not good enough to keep his Torah. It's not good enough to keep his commandments. It just because we hear the voice of the Holy Spirit say, "Walk, this is the way, walk therein," doesn't mean that's enough to do. You gotta layer it all. It's like, well, I've got the blood of Yeshua. I got the blood of Jesus, so I'm just fine, just like I am. Okay, you got the blood, but are you keeping the covenant? And if you're keeping the covenant, are you listening to his instructions? And if you're listening to his instructions, are you keeping his ordinances? And are you obeying his voice, listening to his voice? And are you going in the direction that he tells you to go? And I'm going to tell you this: he's never directing us away from Torah. In fact, all the prophets, read the prophets, guys, read the prophets. Okay. The major prophets and the minor prophets. Let's use that terminology. Read them. What is the cry of the prophet? What makes them a prophet? Is it because they can foretell the future? Okay, there's an element of that in that, but every prophet is crying out to his generation to return to the Torah. It's the same message. Why would the message ever change? If Genesis through Revelation is consistent within itself, then that same message will be the same all the way through, right? So if the prophets are saying, return to Torah and repent from all your wicked ways, then it will always be the same message for us today, because none of his word has expired, nor has it nor has it been deleted in any way. And it's not all fulfilled, because there are multiple passages within the Old Testament and the New Testament, using that terminology, that have not been fulfilled. And it's up to us to fulfill those. So it's very important. So we're going to read on, and it says, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because your father obeyed. Okay. And he says, and now obey my voice and dwell in this land. Pretty strong word there. And so Isaac said, in other words, you know what Yahweh just told him? He said, you've graduated. You don't have to go to Abraham to find out what I'm telling you. You don't have to just kind of simply like, Abraham's going here, so we're just going to move here. Abraham's going there, so we're moving there. Yahweh spoke to him, so we're going to. No, it's now on the shoulders of Isaac. And Isaac is now trying to pay attention and learning to hear Yahweh's voice. Very important, even though his eyes grew dim. And it says, and he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years. 3 weeks of years. 3 weeks. That's 21 years, 3 weeks of years. And Abimelech charged concerning him and concerning all that was his, saying, any man that shall touch him, or anything that is his, any man that shall touch him or anything that is his shall surely die. And he waxed strong among the Palestine. And he got many possessions, oxen and sheep and camels and asses and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Pelishim and brought in 100-fold. If Yitzhak is blessed, then everybody that's around is blessed, correct? Yeah. And he sowed in the land of Pelishtim and brought in 100-fold, and Yitzhak became exceedingly great, and the Pelishtim envied him. And now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Pelishtim had stopped them after the death of Abraham. Dun, 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 and filled them with earth. And Avimelech, if you're looking at like an English version, it would say Abimelech, okay? But correct, correct pronunciation on a bait in this would be vate, V, like a V sound. Avimelech said unto Yitzhak, Go from us, for you are much mightier than we. And Yitzhak departed thence in the first year of the 7th week, and sojourned in the valley of Gerar. And they dug again the wells of water, which the servants of Abraham his father had dug, and which the Pelishtim had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names, as Abraham his father had named them. And servants of Yitzhak dug a well in the valley and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Yitzhak, saying, The water is ours. And Yitzhak called the name of the well Perversity. That's interesting, because they had been perverse with us. It's interesting that they translated it that way. Is there more of the story that's going on? All right. So it says, and they dug a second well, and they strove for that also, and he called its name Enmity. So they got a second well. So they had perversity and enmity. And he strove, and he arose from thence, and they dug another well. Because Abraham, he named all the wells. Now Yitzhak is digging his own wells, and he's naming them, because it's to remember what's going on. And he rose from thence, and they dug another well, for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Room. And Yitzhak said, Now Yahweh has made room for us, and we have increased in the land. And he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the first year of the first week, in the 44th Jubilee. That's a lot of Jubilees. 44 Jubilees. And you could probably look at it as like 44 times 50 in the 44th Jubilee. 44 times 50. 2,200 years since creation. Just saying. It was the first week in the 44th Jubilee. The first week. So the first week is the first 7 years of the 44th Jubilee. And Yahweh appeared to him that night on the new moon of the first month, and said unto him, Wait a minute, stop right there. Come on. This is to clarify something, because it's a translation, kind of a translation error. And I'll tell you that Dr. Pigeon and his crew, they're kind of going on this journey of calculating the calendar as well. And so that's why they translated it, the new moon, as if it's the moon, that the month is calibrated by the position of the moon, or the phase of the moon. But let's just clarify. Let me clarify it for you. And Yahweh appeared to him that night on the new month of the first month, because we went through the whole thing. We did a whole study on it, and talking about the Hebrew word for month as opposed to the Hebrew word for moon, and how many times that they translate it, and it's an incorrect translation, because they want to fit their narrative. And we found this out looking at the the works from the current Hebrew Bibles that we have. and how they mistranslated that word when the word actually means month and it does not mean moon. And so that's why I need to clarify this because it's going to be the same here. And Yahweh appeared to him that night on the new month of the first month. So on the first day, we'd have to say on the first day of the first month. So at the beginning, maybe this would also tell us that it's on the first day of the first month, beginning the first year of the Jubilee. Okay. I think that's probably the best way. Yeah, Aviv 1. Yeah, if you want to say it that way, that would be a way to say it. And and he said unto him, I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and shall bless you, and shall surely multiply your seed in the sand of the earth for the sake of Abraham my servant. I just thought about this. How many times has Yahweh showed up at particular times? A lot of times it's on the first day of the first month, or he shows up on Passover, or he shows up on Shavuot, or he shows up on another feast day. But it's in particular days of the calendar. It's not like on the 27th day of the third month, that he shows up and he gives a message. It's always like on the first day of the first month. And would that not tell us that in 3 days, because in 3 days we're going to have the first, no, I'm sorry, we're going to have the equinox. So the first day of the first month is March the 25th. That's a week from tomorrow. I think we should all have our antennas up to see what Yahweh is saying to us on that day, because that day is fast approaching. And, and then after that, we've got Passover. We really need to be paying attention because Passover, it's on its way. And when Passover is on its way, guess what happens? Biblical things happen during the feast days. I think we just got a big warning on it when a good portion of the world had a blood red moon last month, right? And he built an altar there where Abraham, his father, had first built, and he called upon the name, built an altar there. And he called upon the name of Yahweh, and he offered sacrifice to the Elohim of Abraham, his father. And they dug a well, and they found living water. And the servants of Yitzhak dug another well, and did not find water. And they went and told Yitzhak that they had not found water. And Yitzhak said, I have sworn this day to the Pelashim, and this thing has been announced to us. And he called the name of that place the well of the oath, for there he had sworn to Avimelech and Akuzath, his friend, and Pikol, the perfect or his host. That's an interesting phrase. And Yitzhak knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. And Yitzhak on that day cursed the Pelishtim, and he said, Cursed be the Pelishtim on the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all the nations. May Elohim make them a derision and a curse, an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the other people in the hands of the Kittim. And whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven, for they shall be the enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth. And no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment, for destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the seed of the Pelishtim reserved, and there shall no longer be left for these Kaphtorim a name or a seed on the earth. Oh, that's pretty strong language. Just thinking. If there is an evil people like the Pelishtim that were doing everything they could to keep, they're filling in the old wells, and so that Yitzhak had to dig out the old wells and dig new wells. But there was perversity and enmity They were battling over it. We read that in the book of Genesis as well. And but they're battling over these wells, and it causes Esau not only to say, "Look, I'm making peace with Abimelech and his buddies, but hey, these Palestine, I am going to pronounce a curse that they shall not survive." That is the Caphtorim. Uh, I guess the Caphtorim are going to be part of the Palestine. That's all I can say. All right. Okay, and it says, "For though he ascend unto heaven, thence shall he be brought down. And though he make himself strong in the earth, thence shall be dragged forth. And though he hide himself among the nations, even from thence shall he be rooted out. And though he descend into Sheol, there also shall be condemnation. His condemnation be great. And there also he shall have no peace. And if he go into captivity by the hands of those who seek his life, shall they slay him on the way, and neither name nor seed shall be left to him on the earth, for into eternal malediction shall he depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth." Wow. And that is quite the curse. And yeah, it's not in the Torah that he cursed him like that. It just says that there was a he battled with him over the wells, and they came to an agreement. But nevertheless, he pronounces that thing, and then I just have to think, what does the word say about um, the words of our mouth, the words of our tongue? And because do you know of any Palestine or Caphtorim around anymore? I mean, have you ever heard of them? Are they a people group? No, they're not. And they're gone. And they were cursed. And what about our tongue? Do we recognize the power that's in our tongue? Do we curse things that should not be cursed? Or has y'all given us the power to be able to curse a people group? I don't know if he has. Seems like that was specifically for Isaac. Because where have we read that? And where have we read it anywhere in Jubilees that anybody cursed an enemy like that before? So, anyway, the words of our mouth, life and death. It's in our tongue. Be careful. So, and I would agree with you, Chad, that Yeshua is God. He is. He's Elohim. He is the Most High. So, well, I don't, there's a lot to be said about the people group that live over there in that land called Gaza as to what their heritage is. Um, but many would say they're Arab, and because they're all part of Jordan. And so that's a whole nother rabbit trail, not for tonight, probably not for this program. But and it goes on now, chapter 25, and because some people, well, and some say that they're original descendants from the first century, and are their bloodline is Jewish. Many of them, I would say, not Jewish is not the good word for it. Hebrew, because Judah is just one tribe of 12, and but they may have lasted the centuries. Many of them converted to Islam so they wouldn't die. Some even say that. So who knows? I mean, there's a lot going on there. That's all I can say. And it's a mess. We need to pray. We need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We need to pray for President Trump because I believe he's in a trap. And the things that are going on because of what's happened, I think he was led astray and highly influenced, as if this incident going on in Iran is going to make him, you know, uh, well-known president in U.S. history, and it seems to be backfiring. And we need to pray for him that he's able to back out of it, because what's happening now is can bring about a global famine because of the petroleum products that come out of the Middle East, and they're not allowed to get out. They're destroying the ships. So it basically shut down Strait of Hormuz. So this is a very, very delicate situation. We need to be praying over there, by the way. Just kind of, this is a plug, and this is one of those time stamped things that's happening. That is a good discussion for Let Us Reason Together on Monday. And whether we get there or not, maybe we will. Maybe we'll talk about that on Monday. Let Us Reason Together in the uncensored news portion of that show, the last 30 minutes, here on the lambnetwork.tv. So, chapter 25. And in the second year of this week of this Jubilee, Rivkah called Yaakov her son and spoke to him and said, "My son, do not take you a woman of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau your brother, who took 2 women of the daughters of Canaan. And they've embittered my soul with all their unclean deeds, because they're eating pig and shellfish. For all their deeds are fornication and lust, and there is no righteousness with them, for their deeds are evil." They're probably doing more than just eating pig and shellfish. I bet you they're doing a lot more than that, but I had to throw that out because, I mean, all their deeds are evil. And I said, and I, my son, love you exceedingly, and my heart, my affections bless you every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, and do the will of your mother, and do not take you a woman of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of my father and of my father's kindred. You shall take you a woman of the house of my father, and El Elyon will bless you, and your children will be righteous, a righteous generation, and a holy seed. And then spoke Yaakov to Rivkah his mother, and he said unto her, Behold, mother, I am 9 weeks of years old. 9 weeks of years old. So he's 49, according to what he just said here. And I neither know, nor have I touched any woman, nor have I betrothed myself to any, nor even think of taking me a woman of the daughters of Canaan. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham, our father, for he commanded me not to take a woman of the daughters of Canaan, but to take me a woman from the seed of my father's house and from my kindred. I have heard before that daughters have been born to Laban, your brother, and I've set my heart on them to take a woman from amongst them. And for this reason, I have guarded myself in my spirit, in my ruach, against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life, for which regard to lust and fornication and lust and fornication, Abraham, my father, gave me many commands. Abraham, my father. That's quite a position. He's elevated. And he didn't say Abraham, my grandfather. He said Abraham, my father. So did he diminish his own father and for Abraham? I mean, he did well among the tents of Abraham for quite a long time, and dwelt among the tents of Shem. That's what they said. And despite all that he had commanded me, these 22 years my brother has striven with me, and spoken frequently to me, and said, My brother, take to be your woman a sister of my 2 women. But I refused to do as he has done. Can you not see? Esau is just trying to get Jacob just to trip up one way or another. It's like, I can't get him to trip up. Don't you want one of these? Won't you want one of his sister? My wife's my woman, my women, my sister, their sister, woman. Okay, I swear before your mother, just kidding, that all the days of my life I will not take me a woman from the daughters of the seed of Canaan, and I will not act wickedly as my brother has done. Fear not, mother, be assured that I shall do your will and walk in uprightness and not corrupt my ways forever. And thereupon she lifted up her face to heaven and extended the fingers of her hands and opened her mouth and blessed El Elyon. I think she did this type of thing, but like above her head, she extended them. And Cinderella's stepsisters. Yeah, that's what a horrible thought. And he be sure, and so she lifted up her hands and opened her mouth and blessed Elyon, eh, who created the heavens and the earth, and she gave him thanks and praise. And she said, "Blessed be Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh Elohim, and may his holy name be blessed forever and ever, who has given me, Yaakov, as a pure son and holy seed, for he is yours, and yours shall be his seed continually, and throughout all the generations forevermore. Bless him, O Yahweh, and and place in my mouth the blessing of righteousness, that I may bless him." And at that hour, when the ruach of righteousness descended unto her mouth, she placed both her hands on the head of Yaakov and said, "All right, all right, okay. You thought that this was just in the charismatic churches or the Pentecostal churches or anything like that. Hey, Bob, good to see you. Better late than never. You can just go back and catch the archive from the very beginning after the show. But okay, so think of it's not the Pentecostals and it's not the charismatics and it's not all these other ones that are out there. And when they place their heads and plant and place a blessing, we see it right here that Rivka is doing it to Jacob. And so she places her hands, and it says also that Yahweh filled her mouth, and she's like, "Whoa, my mouth's got something to say." And so she put her hands on his head and she gives a blessing. Listen. "Blessed are you, Yahweh of righteousness and Elohim of the ages, and may he be blessed, and may he bless you beyond all the generations of men. May he give you, my son, the path of righteousness, and reveal righteousness to your seed. And may he make your sons many during your life, and may they arise according to the number of months of the year." May he make your sons many. Well, he had 12 sons. "And may their sons become many and great beyond the stars of heaven." Yeah, because like how many went down to Egypt? Like 70. "And their numbers be more than the sand of the sea. And may he give them this goodly land, as he has said he would give it to Abraham and to his seed after him always. And may they hold it as a possession forever. And may I see born unto you, my son, blessed children during my life." Yeah, she wants to see the kiddos. "And during my life, and a blessed and holy seed may all your seed be. And as you have refreshed your mother's ruach, your mother's seed spirit during her life, the womb of her that bore you blesses you. Thus my affection and my breast bless you, and my mouth and my tongue praise you greatly. Increase and spread over the earth, and may your seed be perfect in the joy of heaven and earth forever. And may your seed rejoice, and on the great day of peace, may it have peace. May your name and your seed endure for all the generations. May Elyon be your Elohim, and may Elohim of righteousness tabernacle with them, tent with them, dwell with them, in other words. And by them may his sanctuary be built into all the ages. Blessed be he that blesses you, and all flesh that curses you falsely, may it be cursed." And she kissed him and said to him, "May Yahweh, Yahweh of the world, love you as the heart of your mother, and her affection rejoice in you and bless you." And she ceased from blessing. Wow. So this is pretty heavy, pretty heavy blessing. So Jacob's getting blessings from all around. The only blessing he hasn't received yet is from his father. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more to this story. We've got time. We're going to jump in to chapter 26, because that was it. Chapter 25 is gone. What? We went through a couple chapters. We did. We went through 24 and 25. Now we're into 26. In the 7th year of this week, Itzhak called Esau his elder son and said unto him, I am old, my son. Behold, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I know not the day of my death. And now take your hunting weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go into the field and hunt and catch me venison, my son. Make me savory meat, such as my soul loves, and bring it to me that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you before I die. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, she never blessed Esau because he was a scoundrel. He wasn't very well pleased with him. But Rivkah heard Isaac speaking to Esau, and Esau went forth early to the field to hunt and to catch and bring home to his father. And Rivkah called Yaakov her son and said unto him, Behold, I heard Isaac your father speak unto Esau your brother, saying, Hunt for me and make me a savory meat, and bring it to me that I may eat and bless you before Yahweh before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice. In that which I command you, go to your flock and fetch me 2 good kids of the goats. Why are they kids? Because that's the most tender meat. You want the tender. He's looking for some savory meat. It's got to be tender. I mean, Esau can't be going out and getting an old buck. I mean, think about that. He's going to be going out for one that's going to have. You'd think he'd be getting one with tender meat. Of course, they didn't have the hunting laws like we do today. It says, and I will make them savory meat for your father, such as he loves, and you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat and bless you before Yahweh, before he die, and that you may be blessed. So here, this is okay. This is like leading to the climax of the story because now, I mean, this is all about time. It's the timing of everything because we don't know how long it's going to take Esau to go find the right venison or the right meat out there in the field, but he's going to go find it, the type that his father loves the most, and then he's got to bring it back. He's got to clean it. He's got to gut it. He's got to dress it. He's got to do all that stuff. Then he's got to cook it, and then he's got to bring it for Yaakov. And so now Jacob's on a timeline. He's got to go out there, get a couple baby goats. He's got to dress them, get them cooked. Well, Rivka is going to make it, but he's got to get it ready and prepared, and then he's got to put on his costume, right? And Yaakov said, Rivka, his mother. I mean, did you think about this? Why didn't Jacob and Esau ever tell Isaac about the deal, about the birthright? I mean, why didn't they just come out and tell him, like, here's your birthright, and um, uh, Jacob has it, and Esau say, now I'm the younger, and Jacob is the elder. They never did that. Maybe would have prevented a lot of this from happening. I mean, they should have gone right away to Dad, shouldn't they? Gone right away and said, look, I'm about to die, Dad, and because I just did this, that, and the other, and so I was so hungry, and I said, what does it matter? And I swore to Jacob that he could have my birthright. No, because Esau's a scoundrel, right? Just saying, he's a scoundrel. And Yaakov said to Rivkah, his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold anything which my father would eat, and which would please him. I only fear, my mother, that he will recognize my voice and wish to touch me. And you know that I'm smooth. And Esau, my brother, is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer, and shall do a deed which he had not commanded me, and he shall be wroth with me, and I shall bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. Rivkah his mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son. Only obey my voice. Well, it's always from the beginning. Rivkah knew that the elder would serve the younger. It's true. And so she was very confident that that would not happen. I bet you she was standing pretty close by. Just make sure everything went smoothly. Yaakov obeyed the voice of Rivkah, his mother, and went and fetched 2 good and fat kids of the goats, 2 fat baby goats, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made them savory meat, such as he loved. And Rivkah took the goodly raiment of Esau, her elder brother, son. Okay, yeah. So the nice clothes that Esau had, which was with her in the house. Yeah, because she couldn't go sneaking into Esau's tent, or because his wives could be hanging out there, right? Um, I mean, but he haven't. That's pretty smart, mama. That she would say, these are good clothes. I'm going to keep them in my tent, Esau, and if when you need them for whatever good purpose, I'll have them for you. I think it's true. Oh, okay, we gotta wrap this up. And she clothed Yaakov, her younger son, with him, and she put the skins of the kids upon his hands and on the exposed parts of the neck. And that's where we're gonna leave it this week because we're out of time. So you got to come back next week because we're right in the middle of a story. We'll see you then, and hope you have a blessed week. Shalom.
If you missed today's show or want to watch it again or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lambnetwork.tv where you will find this show and all the other live Lamb Show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell someone about the Messianic Lamb Network. We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussions, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the lambnetwork.tv website. I'm Sandi Craig, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.